I really I like telling jokes, but there need to be some kind of a segue. Without a segue, just saying tell us some stories about Kasparov. That normally doesn't go particularly great. Can you play a game featuring the Italian? I want to know how to continue the attack, and it depends on I would need cooperation from my opponents. Obviously, you can't just play the Italian with white and hope that like you need your opponent to reply to e4 with e5 to begin with. But we'll see what can be. Tell us a story about Kasparov and an animal. Yeah, I'm not sure I know very many Kasparov slash animal stories. I don't know if he is, too much of an animal person. I definitely am, but Gary, in my experience, has never, it never seemed to me like he was much into pets. I could be wrong though, but I have spent a decent amount of time with him in and around him in recent years, and I don't know if I've ever heard him mention a pet even. Knight g5 seems attractive, but there's like bishop h2, queen h5, shenaniganry. I'll go with h3 for now. I don't really need to hurry. Do you have a favorite Kasparov game? I have plenty, but I mean the one that is supposed to be like the immortal game of the 20th century is definitely a very, very good game. The one he won against Topalov in the tournament I played in, Vaikanze 1999. He won a very nice game against me as well in that tournament, which is remembered much less by people who are not me or him, but it's still a very, very good game. I'll do this. It's not necessary. I can just retreat with the queen, but this is also just completely winning. So, well, okay. I mean, you should have taken the queen. Yeah, the Pierce game against Veselin. That is a truly excellent game. But like once again, not breaking news. Everybody knows that one. I think the one that made maybe the most impression on me as I was growing up was, let's just take the rook. Let's not kind of do any fancy stuff. I grew up with the Karpov Kasparov matches being like the most important thing in my world, really, as a young chess player. And from those matches, I think the games that made the biggest impression on me were, well, obviously the 24th game, the one that made him world champion, the one where Karpov needed to beat him with the white pieces in the second match, and that was a fantastic Sicilian, and that move rook e7. I think, like, from the moment I saw the move rook e7 in that game to the moment where I could actually understand why this is being played, there must have been a large, a lot of time probably has passed between those two. Okay, we have a Fischer random challenge here. So a7 would have been hanging if something was on g1, like a bishop or a queen, but there's nothing on g1. That's like the first thing you do when you encounter an unfamiliar position in 960. You check if you can actually blunder a pawn in one move. And see here, seemingly we cannot. The timid way of dealing with this would be to play g6 and then rook takes h8, but I don't really like it. I lose the right to castle if I do that. And I will try to avoid that. I think maybe playing when white opens with b3 in Fischer random, it often makes at least some sense to reply with b5, kind of saying you've done it the timid way around, and I want to be sort of more aggressive in terms of grabbing some space and so on. I don't know if it's correct here, but there's definitely some argument to be made for doing that. Knight f3 is a very critical move here because, as I now realize, something like knight g5 or knight e5 would create immediate threats against my f7 pawn, and I need to have a reply to this. I think if I play d6, knight g5, I will have queen f5, but It's risky. It's risky, but once again, I think I want to try g3 now. I was planning to go e5, and this sort of completes the first part of my plan, blocking this diagonal so that I can play g6 without trading the bishops. My queue is currently 142 challenges long, but I'm accepting random challenges today. Gorgonzola says so. The length of the queue is not really entirely relevant because clearly I'm never going to be able to play all of them, and therefore just getting into the queue and hoping to get lucky with a random generator is your not with that attitude. You are, as always, entirely right, Dodgy. So returning to the famous favorite Kasparov games, so that the 24th game of the second match, and then there were two games number 16. Let me see if I can centralize this a little bit. The game number 16, the one with the knight on d3, the Sicilian Gambit, is a game I have actually given a few lectures about. It made such an impression on me in terms of how to play with initiative, how to develop initiative, and so on. And there was also an absolutely beautiful game number 16 in a Zaitsev, in a different match. Do you play any musical instrument? I come from my mom taught music for 30 years. And one of my children got into a St. Petersburg conservatory this year. I personally do not actually play any instrument now. So, as per usual, you know, they say the talent skips a generation. So, in my case, I am that skip generation. This is a cute little move. I don't know if I should be worried. I can also just take on c5. I assume my opponent wants to take on e5 in reply. That pawn trade is not really that horrible for me at all, so I could just allow it. Or I could play something like queen d7. It kind of bugs me that the pawn on a6 will be hanging. Maybe we should start by playing b4, forcing white to play queen c1, and then the d6 pawn is not hanging anymore. And in general, I think forcing my opponent's queen to c1 makes a lot of sense, because normally I think the rook would have gone there. And we should be playing g6 kind of early-ish, but I don't really want to allow this trade, so I'll move the queen away from the c-file for now, just to make sure that the queens don't come off so easily. Yeah, that bishop kind of looks stupid, but it's not that difficult to... Like, once I play g6, it's just a normal Feifian Ketot bishop, which is for some reason on h8. And that's not really such a big drawback. Did you follow Hafu's run in PogChamps? Yeah, I did. I was, I think, starting from maybe the last day of the qualifiers, and I think for all of her knockout matches, I was there in chat spamming pingos. I was very happy that she won, because I think it kind of sent the correct message, because she was clearly the person in that competition who actually wanted to win it the most, at least in the sense that she was very, very willing to put the work in. Everybody else kind of assumed that, yeah, this is like a difficult game. I should probably, you know, do something about my calculating skills and so on. But like, I'm not actually going to, you know, seriously study the openings or, you know, get any kind of a concept in my head as to what I'm trying to achieve. And she was just kind of full on grinding things and improving her endgames. And she had a very clear idea, I think, in her mind of how she was going to win it. And she basically won it in exactly that way. So yeah, I was very, very pleased when she won it. I don't know about this trade, but it's not going to be very bad. I don't know if it's the best play in the position, but it's fine. Well, let's not blunder a rook here. blundering a rook here would be... That would definitely be suboptimal. Yeah, and here, something I did not spot immediately is that I have this queen a7 move in this position, which might actually prompt my opponent to play d4, which kind of very conclusively kills off... Well, not kills off, I think kills off is a bit strong, but the bishop on a1 will be a kind of a sad piece from now on. In particular, I mean, one option I have here is just to play c4 and d5 and say, enjoy your absolutely dead piece on a1. I don't actually watch the NBA. I wanted to say all that much, but the fact is I don't watch it at all, so I don't have a prediction for you, Backdoor Man. This is a cute idea, but I don't think it works because I can force the queens off here. And I should end up with at least some extra pawns and maybe even more. It's a very nice horse, by the way. The Lichess horse. Am I subbed? I'm not even subbed. That has to be how am I not subbed? Yeah, let's just, I mean, EF and then F2 come close to winning by force, but doesn't actually. Yeah, now I can do this, right? No? What? What's... okay. It's because I'm an idiot. Everything absolutely normal here. Yeah, I don't know if that's a real thing. Rudolf Carnap. If it is, I apologize. I don't know what that is. So yeah, I already corrected that mistake, Mr. Admin, as you can see by the very beautiful horse I posted a few lines later. It is a very cute horse. I like it. I am not converting this very cleanly, if we are entirely honest with ourselves. But I should still get there. Yeah, in particular now, because now we just collect the rook on c2.